The Grenada Development Bank commences implementation of Output 4 of the Enhanced Direct Access Project, currently being piloted in 3 Eastern Caribbean islands, which aims at building climate change resilience within privately owned buildings, specifically homes and MSMEs, through loan financing at an interest rate of 2% and other concessionary terms. Natasha Joseph, GDB's Business Support and Development Officer, outlines the scope of the project.
So what it looks at is a series of interventions that builds the resilience of these properties, and we're looking at things like renewable energy and energy efficiency. We're also looking at vector control, structural adjustment in terms of roofing, but what it seeks to do is to ensure that these properties can withstand natural disaster and adverse climate impacts. One of the other components that the project looks to address is erosion and flood control, and if you look behind me, this here is a perfect example when we speak about flood control, and it's looking at, as it relates to properties, you can look at retaining walls, you can look at drainage, to control runoff of water, etc. So this particular output within the project that the GDB is implementing really and truly seeks to give property owners comfort in the event of a disaster, that their properties are secure.
Ms. Joseph explains that the project, which is very timely considering we are in the hurricane season, targets the vulnerable pockets of the population, and though it prioritizes some audiences, does not exclude any.
The project specifically targets vulnerable households and MSMEs. Vulnerability is defined whether it's climate vulnerability, income vulnerability, or financial vulnerability, or even social vulnerability. So the project seems to protect individuals and their properties in the event of disasters, as the case may be. When we look at vulnerability in terms of households, the project prioritizes single-parent households, households of persons with disability, and they also look like a few priority sectors within the population as it relates to emergency first responders, as the case may be. So these are particularly designated, but there's no exclusion in terms of the list of persons who can qualify.
She further clarified some of the areas that can be financed by the concessionary loan facility.
If you're living close to a river, or you have property close to a river or waterway, or you're living on a hillside, or you've already experienced land slippage surrounding your home, you may have been considering storage tanks for water, or you may have even been thinking about building a retaining wall or drainage on your property. This particular financing instrument is for you.
The EDA project is financed by the Green Climate Fund and is being implemented by the Government of Grenada through the Ministry of Finance and the Ministry of Climate Resilience. For Grenada Development Bank, I am Chriselle Benjamin Jerome.